So how can you make your LinkedIn profile better? Today we're talking with a super international superstar of the LinkedIn world, Michaela Alexis.
Hello.
Hey boring business owners, and welcome to my channel where I help your message get seen in that cluttered newsfeed. If you're looking to crush it with social media and online marketing, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button below so you don't miss any more videos from this channel that are going to help you with your social media and online marketing goals. Now, I'm talking with Michaela here at the Content Marketing Conference about how you can make your LinkedIn profile just a little bit better. So Michaela, what is it that most of us are probably doing wrong when it comes to our LinkedIn profiles?
I think the first thing is that people don't really consider LinkedIn profiles like their home. I always try to think of it as your house, right? And how do you approach people when they come into your home? And so many people have they're focused on impressing the person. They're focused on talking about the awards that they've won. And their summary is third person perspective. And that's so old school at this point. You know, it's really your introduction to the person that's visiting your profile. So I think considering it being your career museum, your home, and how are you going to introduce every single person that visits your home is probably the first step.
So when someone's coming to our home, our LinkedIn home, what's the first thing that people are going to see and judge us by?
So definitely what LinkedIn calls your introduction card, which is your background photo, your profile photo, your headline, and the first 1 to 2 lines of your summary.
Okay.
So that's going to be basically where most people make their decision whether or not they're interested in working with you.
Okay.
And so with my clients, the very first step is, if I go to your profile and I'm looking at your introduction card, do I know what you do? And for most people, that is not the case. They
Really?
have the default background photo, which is the equivalent of remember the Twitter egg? Some people still have that. It's the same sort of thing. It shows that you don't really care enough to show off who you are and what you do. And that is a great space for so many different things. You could talk about what you do for a living. I see a lot of people that will showcase some event that's coming up. If you're a speaker, talking about the next event that you're speaking at. So that's a really great space to kind of use as a secondary headline. Your headline is also super important.
Okay. And so what is it that we're usually doing wrong with our headlines?
So most people have their current position.
Okay.
Which is kind of a trap that most of us fall into. You know, when you go to a networking event and people ask, what do you do? And you say, your role. But they're not asking you for your current position. We just default to that because we're more comfortable hiding behind our position and our work.
Okay.
But what they're really asking is, what do you do? Who do you serve, and why do you want to serve those people, right?
So I would think a lot of that would come into like your elevator pitch, right? So the all-in-one social media elevator pitch is we help boring business get their message seen in that cluttered news feed through social media and video content creation, right? So that's our little super elevator pitch.
Yep.
But that's a lot more characters than we're allowed in our little bio underneath our picture. So what should we do instead to fit in essentially the essence of who we are in such a short space without using our titles? Yeah,
so there's different ways that you can approach it. It really depends on what makes you feel good. The one way that I've been really liking lately is I've seen people do who I am statement, and who I serve.
Okay.
Or the kind of results that you're getting. And I really like that format. So it would be, you could include your position. So it could be CEO of whatever company, keynote speaker, serving business owners that are trying to advance in the online marketing world.
Okay.
Right? So kind of cutting it down. That way you're kind of who I am, and then why, or who I'm serving, I think is a really powerful formula. But it is tough. It's not easy to kind of narrow it down in terms of characters, but it's almost a lot of people become better writers when they go on to Twitter because, now they've expanded the character count, but originally it was at 140 characters, and most people lost their minds when that happened because they're how do I explain my thoughts in 140 characters? And I think that's a challenge.
Now we can do it with just a series of emojis.
Right, exactly. And I think that the more that you can, there's actually a speaker here at the conference that talked about minimalism when it comes to your communication, getting straight to the point. And I think that's something that a lot of us struggle with, but the more that you kind of flex that muscle, the better you get, and the better your networking skills get offline as well.
Okay, so you had some really great advice for what you should do with your profile picture, and I think probably a lot of people maybe even think that they're doing it right, but there's some little things that you can always do. You can always be doing things better.
Of course.
But so what are some of those things that you're talking about?
Yeah, so it's funny because all of the advice that I give, I don't follow, which is infuriating to most people. But here's the thing. So there are certain rules that you should definitely follow. Of course, like the 40 to 60% of your face should take up the frame because, again, you want to think of your thumbnail. So if someone is looking at, you've commented on someone else's post, are they going to be interested enough in your thumbnail that they're going to click to see your profile?
Okay.
However, and then of course you want to smile and all those things. My current profile photo is me holding a coffee mug. And I'm telling you, I have tried to retire that photo it's been like 2 years, right? And every single time I do, people keep going back to, it just feels like you. And I have tried, I've put it out on LinkedIn, I made a whole poll, and people just love that photo. So at the end of the day, it's really, does that photo capture your personality? Because you want consistency. That's what a strong personal brand is all about.
Yeah, when we were submitting our pictures for this event, everyone's got the headshots, the 3/4 of the nice one. But mine's a picture of me holding my phone going live, and I'm like this. And
I love that, though.
And so they kind of cropped me funny. So in my profile picture, for all of the events and the speaking, it's always this face. So each one is on the screen right now, right? And so it's just it makes me laugh. But that's it's the only.
It's your personality.
Yes, I'm always that person that's hey, for the hundreds of videos on this channel, everyone knows that too.
Yeah, it really comes down to, does your profile feel like you? And if the answer is no, then there's tweaks that you should do. But it should never be about, you can have the best quality photo out there, but if it's you this, super serious, and that's not your personality, then you're creating an inconsistency in your personal brand.
So you're saying some interesting things about personality, which I think a lot of people, even to this day, it's 2019, right? And it's people are still very much I have to be professional.
Yeah.
Which always seems to translate as stiff or boring.
Yeah.
And so I think that if that comes across in your LinkedIn profile, I think that's not going to stop people from connecting with you. Especially if they're seeking you out for a specific thing.
For sure.
But I think that I think it'll make it easier for people to want to talk to and communicate and network with you and stuff by being more personable. So what is it I guess what are your thoughts around that?
So I always try to think of, how would I portray myself at a networking event? I think that's the easiest way to do it. And of course you always want to have a certain level of professionalism in everything that you do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you want to think of yourself, if you're going to an event, how would you dress? How would your approach be? How would your body language look like? And if it's consistent with what you have online, then you're good to go. Of course, I would not recommend my photo for, say, a doctor or, there's all sorts of industries. But what I'm saying is combine your personality with your industry and try to inject as much personality in pretty much everything in your profile, from your summary, your skills, everything that you can possibly touch, just sprinkle a little bit of personality.
Okay, so have a personality-filled background cover, and then also make sure that you're showing yourself and essentially the essence of your brand through your profile picture, and then make sure you're hitting those points in your titling. So what is, you had, the other thing that you had mentioned at the beginning of our video was your description. So what is it that we need to do in our descriptions that we're totally doing wrong?
So, most people don't even have a LinkedIn summary, so that's probably the first thing. It's just such a great...
So go to LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Fill it in.
Yeah,
Step
it's
one.
your story, right? So that is pretty much your maybe only chance of connecting with the person that's visited your profile. So I like to use the format of who you are. So starting with your value statement, your elevator pitch, going into why you do what you do. So what was that aha moment that made you decide to go into the role that you're in? And then you can go into, and I actually, this is my specific formula, but I include a gift. Once I go into that aha moment, before I talk about my services, I like to give something.
Yeah, she's got this thing that says, hold the phone, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or no, slow your scroll.
Slow your scroll.
Which you guys know, I love that statement because I have a little light board in my set that says slow your scroll on it.
Yeah, well, it helps because it just again, it's all about the conversational tone, right? So if you were having a conversation with somebody, you want to give somebody something. They've taken the time to visit your profile. So I always think, again, as your home, you're offering them a gift when they come into your home.
Yeah.
And then you do that. So you dive into what you do. and then how to get in touch. And I think that most people, what they're doing wrong is they're missing one of those points, is either why they do what they do, who they are, what their services are. A big one that I see is no call to action. I mean, there's some people that are like, I mean, I'm sure that you would go on and you would just connect with people because you're like, I really like the work that you're doing, let me connect with you. But then there's other people that they're not quite there, right? Maybe they
want to find out more about you.
Yeah,
like, who are you? What's your deal?
They don't know if it's like okay to reach out to you. They don't know what your standards are, so they might not approach you unless you explicitly tell them to do so. So I think that's a huge missing piece for most people.
Is it okay for it to be long? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Is it okay? I know some people are like, no, keep it short. I know that every social network has their format. Yeah. Is it okay for it to be like lengthy?
I think so. I think that the more information that you can give people so that they can make the decision whether or not they want to partner with you, they want to connect with you, they want to work with you, I think the better, right? Again, this is an opportunity to convert lurkers into clients. Why wouldn't you take that opportunity?
We get those reports every week. It's like, this is how many people and who's looking at your profile. So like, I would think that, let them, keep them there, like your website, like keep them in your scope. So one of the things I did notice though with your LinkedIn, when you're going to someone's LinkedIn for the first time, you have like, for their description, you only have like 2 sentences. Yeah. So what is like the most vital thing to do to get people to like click that like see more piece? Like what should people put there? Like I know for yours, it says when I was little, I wanted to be the tooth fairy, which awesome, by the way.
It's such a bummer that it's not real. It's like an amazing role. You got money, you got the costume.
You get wings to fly. But yeah, I mean, parents, I think, get to be tooth fairies, but it's not nearly as fun. It's more like an act of like Mission Impossible, right? Dun, dun, like you're just trying to like sneak in and get the money in there. I'm not quite there yet, but it's going to be fun when we get there, that's for sure. But so what is it that's the most vital information we should be putting in those first 2 lines to get people to click more? Like what is it that would probably be the best like thing we could do to capture that?
I mean, really it comes down to, are you piquing their interest?
Okay.
Or like, I mean, I do believe that everybody has a really interesting story. Even the people that are like, it's so boring. And then they'll mention something to me. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I have not met anybody that has a boring story. If you love what you do, that passion shines through. So like, what are you going to say that's going to pique that person? And maybe it could be talking about that lead up to the aha moment, right? You see a lot of times in movies and in shows where they'll kind of have like the really like serious part, like the climax first, and then they'll kind of rewind, right? Like 6 months earlier, and then it's like how that happened. And I think that's a really interesting approach. I think that it's always important to keep up with copywriting and screenwriting tips as much as possible, because it really allows you to like things that you wouldn't picture, like your LinkedIn profile can actually become a lot more interesting by doing that. But I think it really comes down to, what are you going to say in that first sentence that's going to make that person click more? I call it the scroll stopper.
Nice. That's cool. If people want to connect with you on LinkedIn, obviously, where do they go?
So you can find my personal profile at Michaela Alexis. It's just Michael with an A.
Okay.
Alexis. I also have a company page, which is my name as well, Michaela Alexis. And that's where I keep all my LinkedIn training videos, courses, all of that good stuff, like free information. It's a pretty fun time.
Awesome. All right, guys, if you are looking for more tutorials or help with your LinkedIn profile, check the video on the screen right now. And like we always say, military life is never goodbye. To see you soon. Until next time, I'll see you soon.